What's up, guys? Python here, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a video that Nick from Twister Mr. Hockey kind of inspired me to do in a way, because I did have this video planned. I just completely forgot until he ended up uploading it. So what he did recently on his channel, which I'll leave the link in the description for it, is he reacted to his predictions and his viewers' predictions. I don't have viewer predictions here. Maybe we'll do that next year if I could. Hopefully we'll get enough support here on the channel, because still trying to grow hockey wise the viewers here, because everyone obviously is still here from my Call of Duty Zombie days, or at least most of my subscribers came from that. But when it comes to this, we're gonna react to some of them. But from Nick's video, he ended up doing a point system, which I'll explain in a minute, which I'm going to utilize in this when reacting to my predictions. And honestly, I don't even remember 90% of them. I remember a little bit of some of the ridiculous ones, but hopefully I do end up doing better than I thought. And I'm going to see if I ended up being Nick. So Nick ended up finishing with 21 points in his video, I believe. Yeah, 21. And the way the point system works is you get 1 point if you get a team that made the playoffs, right? So let's say I had the New York Islanders in second place, but they ended up finishing fourth. So that's a point right there, because they still qualified for the playoffs. I just didn't get the right spot for their team. And then you get 2 points for the exact spot. So let's say I had the Anaheim Ducks in eighth place, like they finished. That's 2 points right there. And then for 3 points, if you get the exact spot and the team qualified for the playoffs. So let's say I had the Penguins in first, which they finished in first this year, which I should probably pull up the NHL standings also for this. I get 3 points right there. So let's see how we did. I didn't even use face cam in this video, so that's a little interesting. But let's go ahead and react to this. I'm ready to do this. So hopefully it's not as bad. I'm for a very long time. I'm not really expecting the best here with my predictions, but I want to hear also, I'm watching the video specifically so I could hear what was going through my mind and like what my reasoning was for certain placements of these teams. So let's go ahead and skip ahead and see that, because I'm just doing the intro. All right, the North Division, we had the Ottawa Senators. Okay, here, I'm just gonna skip to where I placed them, and then I'm gonna listen to my reasoning. So I had the Ottawa Senators finishing last in the division, which did not happen, and I was close to putting them in sixth place, which I'm pretty sure I explained in the video, where I wanted to put them a little bit higher in the division, but I didn't end up doing that. But I don't get a point there. That's 2 points right there that I could have easily got if I just stuck with my gut of going higher with them in the standings. I was so close to doing it, but people talked me out of Ottawa finishing last in the division, so I went through with it. And yep, you should always go with your gut. That's one thing I learned. I'll just adjust it as we go. Now, the reason... Let's hear my reasoning. It's just so tough, because I was a little high on them, but I could also see them getting in the playoffs at the same time, because they added Stepan, added Danov, added Matt Murray. They added a bunch of pieces that I think that they could sneak into the playoffs. It's just that I don't know if it's there for them to get into the playoffs, but don't be surprised if they do. Yeah, and Ottawa, honestly, after the trade deadline, ended up heating up tremendously. They ended up becoming one of the best teams in the NHL. They finished in the top half if you look at the standings post-trade deadline. And even from like the second week of February or something, they were top half in the league or something like that. And they went on an impressive run. And for the acquisitions that they made, they didn't really make too big of an impact. Honestly, the impact was mainly just from prospects taking a step forward, and they got some good goaltending, and not for Matt Murray, definitely not. But overall, not too bad with that Ottawa. Not too bad with that Ottawa prediction. This one's pretty bad, though. We've got the Edmonton Oilers. Hey, I said it was a hot take, though. Now, the reason I have the Oilers... Yes, they have the talent up front, but defensively, they are just so weak right now, especially with injuries. And then in goal, they are just, my God, the goaltending is just awful. And in a short season where you're really going to need to rely on two goaltenders more than in a normal season, I feel like I have the Oilers in seventh place because of it, because they just do not have good goaltending. Now, I was kind of right in a way where they did need to rely on goaltending, obviously, and if Koskinen was not as bad as he was, the Edmonton Oilers probably would have finished higher. However, I was wrong with the goaltending when it came to Mike Smith. Mike Smith was excellent. He was one of the better goalies in the NHL this season. So I was right that they needed better goaltending, which they ended up getting, which ended up killing this prediction. Their defense was more consistent than I thought it would be. And then up front, they honestly lacked the depth. It was mainly McDavid and Draisaitl putting the team on their back. But I said that was a hot take, that prediction. And it definitely was, because they ended up finishing second in the division. Not that, you know, they're still in the playoffs right now, but let's move on. Coming in fifth place in the division, I have a team that everyone's high on. I have the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, I was one spot off with them. I was one spot. And I know so many people were high on the Montreal Canadiens going into this year. I wasn't buying the hype, really. I was one of the few people that wasn't buying into it. And honestly, before I uploaded these predictions, I had Montreal in last place at one point, and then Ottawa ahead of them. Like, I had Montreal in last, and then everyone up a spot that was behind them, which that was being Ottawa and Edmonton. And I ended up switching it, and because I wasn't falling for the Montreal hype, I didn't buy into it, and I clearly was wrong. Not that they really had great goaltending, which I think I ended up mentioning that Price was really like one of their only valuable pieces, but you did see the forward group take a step up, and you saw Caulfield jump into the lineup towards the end of the season, and just a way better year for Montreal than I expected. I didn't expect it. Not too high on them. I think that they could sneak in. I did say that lower on them before when I was first playing around with my predictions, but now that I think about it a little, they added Jake Allen, who's a legit backup, added Edmonton. They have a couple of young guys coming up. I think that Montreal could sneak into the playoffs, but I think that they're going to need, I think after this year, they'll be kind of more of a proven playoff team, but don't sleep on Montreal. You can't really sleep on any of the teams in this Canadian division here, or the North Division rather, but Montreal, I think that they are going to, I think they're going to finish fifth place, and I think that they could be a sneaky team. Now, I wasn't too far off. I said that they could sneak in the playoffs, so I was right about that. So this was wrong. Winnipeg Jets. One spot off, but we finally get our first point. We finally get a point. The Winnipeg Jets ended up finishing third, so we do get a point there, thankfully. Finally, we get a point, because they did qualify for the playoffs. However, I was just off getting 2 points. Again, that's 2 teams in a row. That's frustrating. Paul Stastny to play Patrick Laine. I think that it will work. Patrick Laine was just not there for too long. Obviously, this prediction is just not going to happen, but I think that Hellbuck, I don't know if he's going to have the season he did last year. I think it will be good enough, though, to get them into the playoffs. And I just like that forward group. I like defensively. They showed that they were getting a little bit better last year towards a little bit later in the season. All right, I think I get my reasoning there for Winnipeg. And yep, this was something that a lot of people made a mistake on. I was not alone with this one, falling for the Vancouver Canucks hype train a little bit. They looked insane last year. Demko looked insane last year. They got Holtby. You thought maybe they'd get the Holtby that we saw at one point in the earlier years with the Washington Capitals, because no one thought he was going to have this bad of a year like he did. Even in the previous year with Washington. But in third, I have the Vancouver Canucks. I think Demko is going to prove that he could be a legit starter. Holtby's going to bounce back. There's no way he could be worse than he was before. The forward, but he was worse than he was before. And I said there was no way he could be. Is there a question mark also? But I think that the goaltending will be good enough to hold them spot in the division to get them a playoff spot. Coming now in second place. This one's not good either. Calgary Flames. That one's not good either. Oh my God, I fell for the offseason acquisitions with them. I fell for it. Moves this offseason. Although it may just be my mind right now that saying this now that I know how the standings actually ended up playing out, but just seeing some of these, it's like, oh, I feel like an idiot. I feel like an idiot. Add Markstrom, you add Tanev, they got a couple Canucks players. I think that the Flames, I think that Gaudreau's going to have an insane year. I don't know why. I just have this feeling Gaudreau's going to go off this year. And I think that it's going to help Calgary get the second place spot in the division. First place, we got the Toronto.
Hey, I got this right. I got the obvious pick right of the Maple Leafs finishing first, and that means I get 3 points there. So we finish off strong with 4 points in the North Division. Not a hot start in general with the entire predictions, because I was so close. Oh, the Montreal and Winnipeg one. Oh, if I just had both of them one spot up, that would have just made the difference. That would have made the difference. I'd be sitting at what, 8 points? Yeah, 8 points right now. No, I'd be sitting at actually 10, because I would have got 3 points there because they both qualified for the playoffs, and I would have got their exact spots right, but nothing I could do about that. Let's see what happens with the West Division. I'm not going to listen to my reasoning for the Maple Leafs, because it's pretty obvious that they were going to win the division. But let's hear why I put the Coyotes in last place. And also, I'm sorry, AC Sports Guy, for this prediction. I was definitely off with this one. Division. In last place, I have the Arizona Coyotes. I just don't personally like the team. I mean, they tried trading Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Like, what are they doing? I don't even know what Arizona, they don't even have their first round draft pick this year because of the scandals. I'm sorry, AZ Sports Guy, if you're watching this, but I apologize to him in this video also. Man, like, Arizona is just a complete dumpster fire, and I think that things are only going to get worse from here. They got to trade some guys. They got to find a way to trade Ekman-Larsson, trade Phil Kessel, trade as many pieces as you can, get some draft cap. Hey, I still think that they should do this and rebuild. Capital back. It's not like they were close to the playoffs, but they were way better than I expected for these guys, because, man, Arizona is just not going to be in a good position. I think that they have to try to contend just for the sake of that, the fact that they don't have their draft pick, I should say. But man, that's just, it's tough, Arizona. I'm sorry, Arizona fans, but that's just really, really tough. So yeah, I mean, last place, I think Arizona. Oh no, I could have got last place. I could have got a point if I had Anaheim in last. No, place. I think that they are still just getting the young talent going, building up the system a little bit. Obviously, you and the thing that kills me more is that I know exactly what I did with this division when it came to, I think I remember who I put in fifth. I think I put, was Minnesota fifth actually? I think I had the top three that literally everyone had, where the Blues were in third, and then Golden Knights, Avalanche. It was flip-flopped usually with anyone. It was like the flip of a coin with anyone. They were interchangeable. That was the word I was looking for. Jeez. But I think I had Minnesota below the playoff line, and I think I had I think I had LA in fifth, and then I had Minnesota maybe in sixth. I don't know. Let's just say. Travis Zegras has looked amazing at World Juniors. I think that Anaheim will be up and coming. Hey, I mean, they both made an impact when they stepped into the lineup. They both did. And yes, there we go. We got a point. LA was in sixth place in my predictions. I was convinced that I did not have them there. I thought I put them a little higher, and I thought I was hopping on the LA bandwagon a little bit because they got Byfield, but he hardly played. I think the question mark is their goaltending. Defensively, they're not that great. But forward-wise, I like their forward core a lot. You have Velarde, who probably is going to play. You have Byfield now, who's going to play. Turcotte, most likely. Elias. So they really just didn't play. Anderson, as much as a Ranger fan as I hate him, maybe he needed a change of scenery. I shouldn't hate Elias. I'm more sour with the organization with that drama, but we're not gonna. I think that the Kings could. We're not gonna sneaking into. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. But like I said, question mark is goaltending. Jonathan Quick is not getting any younger, but I expect him to get moved at the deadline. Don't tell me I put Minnesota. I could see my mouse going to Minnesota. Could make the playoffs with the San Jose Sharks now. Okay, so I had Minnesota in the playoffs. I thought I had them missing it. I might get at least a point, because I don't think I had them be different with this prediction. If I don't think I had them finishing because of the bankruptcy reasons. I think that the Sharks, though, you have a healthier Sharks team, and if Jones could just give you, sorry, Nick, I'll save you the pain with listening to me talking high on the Sharks, because we know that just did not go well. But there we go. We get a point right there for
Minnesota making the playoffs. Not the right spot, but we do get a point because they did make the playoffs. And just one spot off. They're just... But that also does mean I could add a point because I know I have the Blues in third. There's no way I had them first or second, so I could add another point there because I know that I had the Blues. And just for saving time with the video, I'm gonna skip ahead because I know I had them there. Yeah, the Blues were there, and then I had the Golden Knights. All right, so the Golden Knights and then the Avalanche, which is what happened, and that right there is 3 points for both of them. So I did pretty good here with the West Division. So what is that? 9 points for the West Division. Yeah, 9 points for the West Division. That is pretty solid with the West of it. Oh, all right, we're not. All right, we'll get to that in a second. But the West Division, 9 points. So right now we're at 13 points. 13. So Nick, we're catching up to you.
Really,
So we can do this.
Now going on to the
this
Central
prediction
Division,
right here is
I
not
got the Blackhawks
the hottest start.
I mean,
no,
they're not
the hottest
for
start.
a while. They're not going to have Doc for the entire season. They literally have no goaltending. Come on, they're going to finish last.
Kevin Lankinen he stepped in and was a beast.
Next, we got Detroit. I think
that's a point right there. Detroit in 7th place, and they told me they would finish last. They told me. But I got that right, thankfully. I got that right.
Better. I don't think they're going to do great.
I already know one team that is just a really bad prediction with this.
I think they're going to be better than last year. You add guys like Bobby Ryan, Vlad Nemestikov, Thomas Greiss to the mix. I think that definitely...
Greiss did not have a good year, though. Ooh, Nashville. That's not a good look.
Division, not much to say with
What did I say about Nashville? That's not a good look, though.
I have the Nashville Predators.
Ooh, that's not a good look.
Soros has to be better. Rene has to be better.
Soros was good.
I don't know what to say with Nashville. They're just a weird team to me. They look good on paper, except for the goaltending to me. But they just, I don't know. There's just something about that team. I feel like that there's some disconnection going on with them that they just can't.
Which there was at the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden they turned it around. What could I say? And we had the Dallas Stars then in 5th place, and I am so happy I got this prediction right because I remember just hearing it from so many people about having the Dallas Stars in 5th place and having them below the playoff line, specifically from my friends. I didn't really have people on YouTube bothering me about that, but people were my friends were clowning me for having Dallas below the playoff line. And I said, listen, there's just no shot. Like, you just look at the injuries they have with, Sagan and Bishop.
He's going to have to carry the weight with Bishop out. Like, I don't know. I don't think Dallas is I know they made the cup final last year, so people are probably going to call me crazy for this, but you have those 2 injuries. Those are huge hits to the team, and also I just think that Dallas got hot at the right time.
I was right about that, and they called me crazy.
Play-ins last year. I don't know.
All right, I think I heard enough reasoning, and this right here is a point. However, I'm a little disappointed with the Panthers in the sense that every single year for the past, or I should say every single year, but the year prior, I should say, I privated the video now, but I made my preseason predictions, and I was voice crack there, geez. I was really high on the Florida Panthers, and I said, listen, they get Bobrovsky. Goaltending has been their number one issue, and this is going to push them over the edge. This is going to make them a top team and a legit contender, and I had them 3rd place in the Atlantic that year, and they just weren't there. But I'm glad I had them above the playoff line because I do get a point, but I think he's going to be better, but 3rd place is a little bit of a rough one. Yeah, yep. This was not a good pick. I want to hear what I said about them.
Max Domi edition, I love it for some reason. I wanted the Rangers to get him so bad, but Max Domi
I'm kind of glad they didn't get him now.
Going to help that offense more than people know. You have Merzlikins in that Korpisalo. Just like I said, you need to rely on 2 goalies now in this league, and especially in this short season. And I think that having those 2 goalies is really going to help. Obviously, losing Murray on defense is a little bit of a hit, but I think Columbus is going to finisher again. That was not good enough reasoning. And yeah, so we do get a point here. However, Tampa Bay, if Stamkos just didn't get hurt, if they just didn't have the injuries, and Kucherov too, if they didn't have the injuries, it would have helped. It would have helped. But that does mean I do get 3 points for this next prediction. So yeah, we're at 7 points for the Central. That's not bad at all.
Go off this year.
That's not bad at all.
I don't know why.
Because I had the Canes in first, and what can I say? Here, let's hear what I said.
Goaltending is going to help and be a big role in this. But Carolina's defense and their offense is so good that I just don't think that I think they could get away with a decent Peter Mrazek and James Reimer. I think that,
and Nedeljkovic ended up stepping in and having a huge rookie season, by the way.
They are going to win the division. I don't know why. I just got this feeling that Aho and Svechnikov are going to have career years this year. I don't know. I'm just feeling something big with Carolina. And then that defense, like I said, is just really good. Now, all right, the East Division. This one, I remember it a little because I went a little crazy with this. And, of course, the New York Ranger fan, the homer, got a little bias here. And you guys will see it. You guys will see it. And you can laugh all you want, comment all you want. I was a homer. I was biased. And next year, I got to push that to the side when I'm making these predictions. Although, if the Rangers are serious about coming out of this rebuild, then maybe they will actually make the playoffs. But to be fair, the whole Panarin situation, if Panarin's not out, and if Zibanejad doesn't have the slow start he does, who knows what happens with the Rangers? Who knows? There was just so much drama and this huge cloud over the organization for the first half of the season, and man, if everything was all sunshine and rainbows through the second half of the season, through the first half of the season as it was the second, and you had Lafreniere get off to a rough start, just so much went wrong there. We'll get into that. But when it comes to the points right now, I believe I am 1 point off. Sorry, I was legit counting in my head, but yeah, I'm at 20. So, Nick, I just see 1 point to tie here, so I think I did it. I think I have one. The hottest takes, and let's get into it. Last place, the New Jersey Devils.
New Jersey was not last. New Jersey was not last.
Crawford, maybe they
Crawford just didn't play.
Finish a little higher, but I do like the moves they made getting Andreas Janssen. You got Ryan Murray also. I mean, I liked some of the moves they made, but I don't know. I think that they still need to develop a little bit, and they're going to need a little more talent from the draft. But I think that they got a good prospect pool, of course. They're going to be a few years away, in my opinion. 2-3 years away. 7th place, Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, my God. Okay, to be fair, if you had a healthy Jack Eichel all year, there's a chance that this would have happened. But I bought into Buffalo's garbage with getting Stahl, getting Hall to finally play with Eichel. I fell for all of it.
Taylor Hall.
Hate it.
They added Eric Stahl. But I don't know. The goaltending is just such a huge question mark for me. Deep,
but that wasn't their problem. That was not their problem. Goaltending was definitely not. Well, to an extent, because Olmark was good. Olmark was
Dahlin, like, what do you got?
Dahlin had a brutal year. Brutal,
sure, but is he gonna be well defensively? Who knows? I don't know. I
could tell you right now, but the 6th place team, I definitely did not get right. I could tell you that right now because I remember who I had first in this
Buffalo,
division.
But now, this is where the division
I remember my top 3
becomes a toss-up. The final 6 spots is where it becomes a toss-up. I have the Pittsburgh Penguins finishing.
Every year I do this, I'm low on the Penguins. I'm low on them, and then they start off slow, and I think it's finally the year that they're dropping off, and then they go full steam ahead and truck their way into the top of the division.
6 in the
And they
East.
did it again. They did it again.
I don't like that defense. That defense is so...
Hey, to be fair, you look at that defense, Mike Matheson, Cody Ceci going into the year. They weren't steaming hot garbage like you expected, but going into the year...
bad. Is the Smith really going to be that good of a backup for them? Who knows? Is Jari going to be
He wasn't
as good
terrible
as he was last year? Who knows? The defense, though, oh, man,
Both weren't terrible.
Give Cody Ceci on that defense. Besides the top pair, oh, man, that defense is going to be kind of brutal. I mean, you got Marino back there. You got Letang. Sure. The rest of the team just is a little concerning defensively. Offensively,
That's
we know
true,
Crosby
though.
and Malkin what they could do. So Pittsburgh obviously could jump the standings, but I just don't see
I know
it.
this next team now.
Okay, now
I
the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, Washington, that was not a good look either.
And
Not good.
originally, I did think they would be a top team, but losing Lundqvist hurts more than people realize.
But they did get good goaltending from Vanacek, and they got good goaltending. They got good goaltending even from Craig Anderson. Decent goaltending at least from
Now you have
him.
a question mark for your backup goalie. And the other question I have with this team is their defense as good as they look on paper? The Schultz contract, they kind of overpaid a little, but that defense I still think is pretty good to where they could finish second. Like, I was contemplating putting them in second place. Just again, it's such a
Oh, that hurts to hear. That hurts to hear that I thought about putting them in second, but I didn't put them in second. That hurts. Oh, I could have got it right, but you know who did that? My brother. I'm going to shout out my brother here for messing that one up, because this guy's put Washington 7th in the division, and I said that there's no way. I said there's no way, and then he kind of convinced me to drop them down a little, and then Lundqvist being out with that heart condition ended up making me drop it. Like I said,
toss up to me, except for
hurts.
first place. I think that that's a lock in my opinion, but
First place was not a lock, buddy. First place was not a lock, buddy.
it's a toss up for me.
So as you can see right now, by default, I have 2 points that I can't get, but there are 2 points, and now that I remember my the rest of it, so I'll tell you guys the total amount of points. Just know, Nick, I ended up beating you this video.
So
if you're watching this, putting in the title, I'd hope you watch it.
Because again, this division is probably the hardest to predict, but I have them finishing 5th. Coming in 4th place, Boston Bruins.
Hey, this was not a bad prediction. This was not a bad prediction at all. Not bad. They were close.
I'm ready. I am tired of hearing all this Boston Bruins hype.
Wasn't right about that
From everyone.
Taylor Hall is a huge acquisition.
You lose Torrey Krug, you lose Chara. That defense is brutal.
But it wasn't.
Defense is awful. Halak is getting older. Who knows how he's going to be? You have Pasternak out for a bit. Yeah, sure, you had Craig Smith, but forward-wise still, I think that there's still holes on that roster forward-wise. I just don't think the forward core is really that complete, in my opinion, specifically the bottom 6. Sure, you could make trades to fill that out, but
Which they did. They got Curtis Lazar.
defensively, there's too many holes. Backup goaltending,
man.
I think Halak is not going to be that great. But again, I could see them finishing
Yeah, and then they had Swayman come in and be an absolute beast for them.
in second because they're the Bruins. But I'm tired of hearing, like,
I know who I have in
just 'cause
third
they're
place.
the Bruins, they're going to be first or second in the division. Could they be there? Sure. But I just don't see it like other people do. I don't know. Now we got 3rd place. I have the New York Islanders.
I just had to have them flip-flopped, and it was so close to actually happening. It was so close to actually happening. This just a 2-point difference. The Islanders just need to win one more, and this would have came true for me. Oh, that's so frustrating. I will say, at least with some of these, I was close, where if you flip-flopped a spot or two, I would have got it right where these teams ended up finishing. So, except for teams like the Coyotes and the Oilers, I mean, other than that, it's just a couple spots difference, so not too bad.
I don't know. To me, there's just so many holes.
And then the top 2. Yeah, let's hear what I had to say about the Rangers. Let's hear the Islanders first.
What I said.
Well, not so many. I don't know if I want to say holes on the roster, because when you're trapping, it's like hard to say that there's really holes on the roster with them. But Sorokin's a question mark. I meant to say question marks, really. Is the defense going to be good enough after losing Devontae's? And
which the defense did take a little bit of a hit losing Devontae's.
Their team, with their system, they rely on chemistry to get the team going, and losing certain guys on the team, you lose some of that chemistry. And then you have the third line, apparently, like Bellows is going to play or whatever for the Islanders. So Bellows, who knows how his chemistry is going to be with the team. Wallstrom, if he plays. That team relies on too much chemistry for me to put them at the top. And
I mean, I put them in the top half. I was generous.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're gonna.
I hate the Islanders,
I can see them
but I put them in the top. And hey, I gave them one more spot than they actually finished. So if any Islander fans want to give me any shit and call me Ranger bias for putting the Rangers ahead of them, which yes, that was wrong. I was gonna say almost wasn't, but we had a rough final 2 weeks that kind of messed everything up. And then, like I said, the first half of the season didn't help, but mainly the last 2 weeks, which were brutal with just stupid amount of injuries. But I was more generous on the Islanders than they actually finished.
Second place team, even the New York Rangers. I'm ready to hear the bias comments. I'm ready.
I was ready to hear it, and yep, I'm still ready to hear it now. You guys could call me that, call me whatever you want in the comment section, clown me all you want. I am down catastrophic with this one. Nothing went right that I said would.
I'm telling you right now.
I fell for what happened in the second half of last season. I really fell for that.
That this offensive group, people are kind of overlooking the bottom six. You have Lafreniere, you have Hedl, you have Gauthier, Lemieux's solid there on the bottom six. That bottom six is pretty good forward-wise. The whole argument is their defense isn't good enough. But if Miller and Trouba are as good as advertised, like they are talking about and hyping up in camp, the Rangers can easily...
Which, hey, they were a pretty good defensive pairing this year, and you kind of saw the holes in Miller's game when Trouba was out. Trouba honestly did take a huge step forward this year, not living up to $8 million still by any stretch of the imagination, but he did take a step forward, and him and Miller made for a really solid defensive pairing, and I'm glad I was right in that way, because... Miller, the last 2 weeks when Trouba got that concussion or that head injury, whatever ended up happening, didn't look too good.
Finish towards the top of the division, no question. If Trouba bounces back, you have the Fox and Lindgren pair, which is really, really good in my opinion.
Yeah, and Fox Norris conversation, probably going to be a finalist this year, if not win it. Although the last 2 weeks of the season really hurt him in that race, I at least think. And then Igor for the Calder also. And then Lindgren, really, really solid defensively. Really solid defenseman.
Is underrated, I meant to say. And I just think that the only question mark is the Johnson-D'Angelo pair, Smith-D'Angelo, whoever's playing with D'Angelo pair. But I think that...
Which, yeah, the bottom pair of the Rangers defense just messed up everything completely. I mean, when you had Jack Johnson playing at the beginning of the season... Yikes.
Then you just make a move at the deadline, help your defense out a bit.
And him and that pairing of Johnson and D'Angelo costed us so many games at the beginning of the season. We could have had a couple more wins against the Penguins, and who knows how that shifts momentum if we do end up winning those games.
And this team could be legit. Obviously, Shesterkin has to prove in a larger sample size that he is the real deal, which I believe he will.
Which he did.
You have Georgievas.
And the last 2 weeks, you want to bash him, you want to clown him. At least he did pretty good considering all the injuries they had.
I'm not worried. I think that I'm ready for the bias.
And the first place prediction, I don't even want to hear what I said about the Flyers. The Flyers, you guys suck. You disappoint me. But in terms of how I did, I ended up getting 22 points. So I just won up Nick. Again, shout out to him for the inspiration of this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new. And other than that, it's been Python. I'm out. Peace.